I have to tell you, I am in love with this show. I love it
Oh,
so much.
you.
I've been kind of obnoxious with everyone. I was like, watch Minx. They're like, what should I watch? I was like, Minx on HBO Max.
I said it, Minx.
Yeah. Um, and I think you're great in it. I think the ensemble is fantastic. So thank you for taking the time to speak with me.
Of
Uh,
course.
so in the first episode, Shelly describes how her husband isn't perfect or isn't her ideal. I think she says, I didn't want a man to get diarrhea as soon as he looked at Chinese food, which I think when I rewatched that episode, I was eating Chinese food. Um, how long do you think it took her to sort of convince herself of that mentality that, it's great, even though it's not what I wanted?
Well, I think she's trying to sell it. Maybe she doesn't even realize it, in the moment, like we don't get everything that we wanted.
Yeah.
Like right? It's all a compromise, but then we get to have kids, but we have a solid foundation. But then he doesn't love to travel and he gets diarrhea just looking at Chinese food. But I mean it's like an argument for why Joyce should go for the magazine. It's like, yeah, sure that it's like a porno guy, but like he's gonna like publish your articles that you've
Yeah.
been writing all your life, right? So there's
Yeah.
like a little weenus in the back.
A
Yeah, I
little
don't think
wiener.
she really fully even realizes what's missing until this other world is sort of revealed to her. Because if she were just in her box living the way that she's always lived next to the other people who are also living the way that they've always lived, I don't know that it would have ever um, been like made aware to her.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. Um, I love the relationship that Shelly has with her sister. I feel like Shelly is the sort of little voice of reason, just sitting right here every time she needs her. Like the
Tough love, the tough
tough love,
love.
but it's not like I think the episode where Joyce is nervous about advertisers and doesn't want anything with like sex toys, and I think you have this
Yeah,
line where I think your exit line, the sort of button on the scene is just like try that one, setting number 4,
yeah.
which
I think that was an improv.
oh
We
yeah.
played we like played a couple different ways. I was like, ooh, do the one with the vein, level 4, or you know, try the big one. But then we also had, there was like a whole, there's like a whole thing about that we couldn't actually see the one that she was gonna then use to get off. It was like a whole like standards and practice thing, but I
Yeah.
think it ended up being good. But yeah, I mean, I think the sister thing is like there's a space between them. So there's a closeness. They grew up in the same house. They have the same sort of like standards for living and morality and that kind of
Right.
thing. But obviously inside of that house was also promoted this level of privacy and like some things we don't talk about. And now we're in a place where like if we're not going to talk about it with our sister, like who are we going to talk about it with?
Yeah.
And she's got these ideas that like if maybe Shelly had seen a magazine 10 years ago with like a vibrator ad in the middle of it, she wouldn't have felt so quite so alone.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Okay.
and so I think I think I love the relationship between the two of them as well. I'm an only child, so I never had a sister,
Mhm.
but most of my girlfriends are like sisters, like
Mhm.
literally if one of them called me in the middle of the night, I would drop everything and go, meet her at the ER or whatever, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Mhm.
And so it was really fun to slip into that with Ophelia and not have the like history, but between these sisters that kind of works. Like there is like a space that they're kind of traversing. And even in the end there's stuff going on with Shelley that she's definitely not sharing with Joyce, right? So
Yeah. That's very true. I do think it's interesting that there is the closeness there, and Joyce can ask her sister a question and Shelly would answer it honestly, but there was also a distance between them that they haven't like minded the
Hmm.
gap of that. So I think sort of that dynamic is really fun to watch. Um,
Well, that kind of thing that sisters do where they like will be like really rude to you and then immediately be like, but remember this thing that you did when you're four? Like, don't do that again. You always do that thing.
yeah, that's
Oh.
true. Um, I'm like the youngest of like a billion kids, so I feel like
Mhm.
I actually always wanted um I was about to say I always wanted a sister, but I was like, I'm clearly not. I'm a boy, so it's sort of that dynamic would not be the same. Um, I was curious, what kind of skills as a mother do you think Shelly likes bringing to the Minx headquarters? I guess not necessarily what she instinctively brings, but I guess is there something that she takes pride in bringing to that space?
I mean, I think ironically, Shelley is the Minx reader. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, there's nobody in that office that is going to read this and be shocked or be, titillated in that way. I mean, they're trying to reach this. I mean, it's kind of like we're trying to get the suburban white women to vote the right way. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's the
Yeah.
similar thing. It's like, how do we access this sweet market of women who are secretly curious but terrified their husband's going to find it? Like, how do we make it accessible to those women or talked about enough that they're like willing to take the risk to like buy it secretly and hide it under the mattress or whatever. um and so I think she brings this sort of know-how from like magazines that have been around for a while
Mhm.
and like how to access a woman like her. um and then the paradox is that she gets access to this world that she would never otherwise have had. um
Yeah, sort of like you're the Shelley's like the test audience that they didn't know that they had
yeah.
sort of right in front of them. That's actually
Yes, I'm the like waffle cone eating dude in Vegas who's like watching Gary Unmarried and like turning the dial. No, I don't like it. Too many women.
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
god.
yeah, exactly. I'm the test audience and the like making it palatable audience and the like making it understandable and catchy and hooky. And she's also she's very practical. She's a multitasker and kind of
Yeah.
you know
I feel like to a certain degree, like since mothers sort of have to, I think something my mom used to say, like most moms can sort of handle everything because they have to.
mm,
And sort of there's something about you being like on the set whenever I think it's the curly haired blonde guy is stretching and Oscar's character is taking pictures of him. There's sort of something kind of lovely about seeing Shelley just chatting with
yeah.
this like super hot naked dude on set stretching his body. There's something kind of homey and lovely about it that I did.
Yes. Well, the whole joke was like, I'm not your mom. Like, you
Yeah.
better pick up that
Thank God.
silly goose.
Silly goose. I love
Yeah,
that.
that dynamic was, I mean, it was scripted, but it was also earned. Like when we first, saw Nate in his full glory with his
Mhm.
prosthetic and
Yeah.
the robe came off, I think we were all like, oh God, like everybody was like, sweet Lord, like what are we gonna do? Where are we gonna look? What do we do? And and then by the end of the day, like I mean, it was always still impressive, the full length of the day. But like I think we shot with him for 2 days. But yeah, we all got by the end of it, we would just be chatting and then, you know, be like, "Oh, this dude's straight up naked in front of me.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, he was great. That actor was great. That was like his first part, like his first job ever.
imagine. That's
He did amazing, right?
yeah, he was great.
He was very nice as well.
Yeah. You have this really great line. I don't remember the last time I got in trouble. And it felt good. I feel like the "and it felt good" is so important.
Yeah.
Do you think that Shelly was looking for trouble, or do you think that trouble just sort of came along and she just like latched onto it?
These are good questions. I think well, I I think I think I don't think she's telling her husband that she's been spending time at at her sister's office is what, you know what I mean? Like I don't think she was seeking it out, but the very second that it was suggested, "Hey, want to stay and help?" She was like, yeah,
Yes.
like so I mean, maybe she seeks out trouble in little ways in her life. It wouldn't seem that way. Like maybe she's trying to make like her day to day a little more exciting, but it seems like it all kind of happened. And also too, I think in that particular scene, the trouble the trouble that they got into was specific to Bambi, and
Mhm.
being with Bambi, I think for Shelley feels very good. So I think
Mhm.
there's like a real loose freedom and like a real self confidence that Bambi has that like Shelley is just like totally smitten with. And then
Mhm.
also I think there's a light coming shining from Bambi onto Shelley that's making her feel excited as well.
Yeah.
So I think that particular line has a lot to do with the developing relationship with the two of them.
I love sort of the before the kiss happens. Um,
Yeah.
there is such a there's an anticipation there that feels so palpable, and it's
Mm,
sort of I sort of I acknowledge the flirtation with the friendship, you know,
yeah.
passing out magazines and to like in a supermarket parking lot, which was really funny. But I felt like I was even surprised when Shelly and Bambi kissed, but it was sort of like I was like, oh, and then I was like so excited for
Yeah.
that to happen. And I think that's sort of exciting as a viewer, where we
Yeah.
sort of see it in the back of our mind, and yet it happens, and we're still kind of thrilled. Um,
Yeah.
I guess this might be like a season two hopeful question, but I guess knowing Shelley's personality, um, I wouldn't say that she would regret what happened, but do you think that she's going to have trouble sort of um, navigating the aftermath, afterglow of that sort of situation? Because
Yeah. Yeah. I think I think it's like the I mean, can I say the cat, the pussy, whatever
yeah,
is out of the bag? Like it's definitely there's definitely something that has been fully awoken
Mhm.
for Shelley. I don't know what they're going to do with it in season 2, but I think, I think it's definitely connected to Bambi, and it would appear at the end of the season that she's going to try to bring that new like passion, the new awareness back to her relationship with her husband, which I can't imagine that's going to go well. But I mean, I'm hoping, I mean, Rich Summer is such an incredible actor, so I'm hoping for some great tense moments with him that are funny as well.
Yeah,
Uh yeah, when we shot that, I think Jessica and I were both so we just really wanted it to, I think we both love our characters, and so we just really
yeah,
wanted it to land and be believable and not just like story driven,
mhm.
that you could see the sort of like through line, so that when the kiss does happen, you're like, you're not like, what? You know,
Yeah.
but that it's fully, it makes sense and it feels right. And also, like you said, which is wonderful, like surprising as well.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't, and I think it does surprise both of them. Like,
Mm.
I think at the end of the episode when they get out of jail and, you know, there's an invitation to go to this party in the hills. I think Shelly's like, I better go home. You know, it's
Yeah.
like at the end of the night, she's like, I better, you know what, I better go home. Like I can't, because if she were to stay and hang out, like who knows what would have happened.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but then but then she sort of starts avoiding like going to the office and stuff. And
Mm.
then um this happens where, you know, she's feeling fully seen and desired, I think, in a way
Yeah.
that maybe hasn't happened in a while, as like not as a mom, not as a, you know, the mother of your children, but as like a separate sexual being.
Hmm.
um and I think that feels really good. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping season 2, like I think there's a lot to explore there for sure, you know. But I would
Yeah.
imagine that in a woman in Shelley's position would, and also given the choice we see her make at the end of season 1, I would imagine she's gonna really try to push, repress,
Yeah. Repress.
you know.
It's I love Rich Summer. He's underrated and dreamy in a way that I think that people don't. Well, I think there is a big Rich Summer contingent uh, of people, but there was like a look that you give that Shelly gives Bambi. I think it's she's sitting down. It's right before the kiss happens, and it's like she undoes the tying of the robe, and there's like a way that you look at her where it's really sweet. There's like sort of a, this may sound like a dramatic word, but it's sort of like an aching quality where she, you can
Mm,
just sort of tell that um that Shelly wants something from Bambi. Like there's such a clear
yeah.
connection there. That's a really sort of beautiful moment when it's, you know, a show that is about, like, you know, porno and dicks, which are fine and great, but it was also
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
it's also about like intimacy and communication with your partner and
Come for the dicks, stay for the nuance.
yeah. That's gonna be the
I do
headline of the
like
article.
I love the like there was like I mean I felt like in that moment there was like a permission being asked, like
Yeah.
so she sits down and she's like, oh, flooded with these feelings, and she's like, I think this is happening for me, is this happening for you,
Mhm.
I don't know what's happened, like can we go for it in a way, like, you know. And there's sort of like a holding of breath while that
Yeah.
decision is made. and and then they both are like, green light, go, you know. And it's just like super passionate. And then Jessica made the amazing choice to giggle after the first kiss, which
Mhm.
just like I loved.
Yeah.
She also, when we were filming that, like sliced open her toe on the chaise
Oh no.
and started bleeding out. And then but she finished the take and then she was like, I need a band-aid. And we were like, holy shit, there's blood everywhere. Not really everywhere, but like, she's such a professional. It's not hard to fall in love with her.
I love her in everything she's in. Like I think the first thing that I'd seen her in, I think it was Wrecked, and
Hmm.
it was just, I was like, who is this girl? And she was
I
just
know.
she she's an exciting performer to watch because she always like throws back at you, I think. So I think that's
She's sparkly, yeah, for
yeah, she's
sure.
sparkly. Um I think that might be all the questions that I have for you, Lennon. I wanted to say before I let you go that and I'm sure you get this all the time, but I think Playing House is such a special,
Oh,
sweet show. I know another writer on the website. She's the one who turned me on to that show, and it's
yeah.
that's such a great
Mm.
show, and I'm glad that there's such a love for that show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was literally like our dream come true to make the show,
Mhm.
and so that it connects with so many people is
Yeah.
like so many women in Target. Shout out it. Like, body roll, body roll. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, that means a lot. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
of course.
tell your other colleague that I appreciate it very
I
deeply.
will. Yeah, I definitely will. Well, thank you so much for your time. I love the show. I'm gonna keep pushing it on people. I'm gonna use that. Come for the dicks, stay for the nuance. That's great because yeah, I think someone I know that I turned on to the show. Someone told me they were just like it's this. I told them about it. Like, oh yeah, what a cool, sexy show. And then when they a couple days later they were just like, oh, the show's really deep. And I'm like, I is that like God forbid.
I know you it doesn't like I mean there's definitely like some selling points, right? It's got some
Mm-hmm.
buzz. It's like got the water cooler talk if we were still all gathering around water
Yeah.
coolers. Um, but then it also has like great through lines and character arcs and
Mm-hmm.
juicy shit that makes you want to come
Juicy shit.
back.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Thank you, Joey.
again, yeah. Stay safe. Have a good rest of your day, and good luck for the whole
Good luck
season
with
upon
your
us.
home,
Oh, thank you.
re-erecting your safe space.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
It's gonna be
All
great.
right.
Okay,
All right. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
thank you. You too.